Thank you for coming to listen to this Discover You story. I'm Lisa, and I've been trying to fix this all day. I give up! Though this story is about doing the opposite of that, so maybe we should start reading it. Are you ready? This story is called Try Again. This is a story all about resilience. Mr. Bump was always having accidents. As you may have heard, if there was something for Mr. Bump to bump into, he'd bump into it. Bump! But Mr. Bump would always get back up and try again, even if he wanted to give up. Are you able to bounce back when challenges come your way? This is what being resilient means. One day, Mr. Bump was having a particularly clumsy day. He tripped over a leaf. Yes, you heard me right, a leaf. And he fell flat on the ground. Ouch! Then as Mr. Bump was getting up, he accidentally caught his foot on one of his bandages. And can you guess what happened next? That's right, Mr. Bump sent himself spinning along the path and bumped into a tree. Bump! Poor Mr. Bump. Even his bandages couldn't hide his blushes. But do you think Mr. Bump gave up and went home? No! Mr. Bump was resilient. He could always recover from whatever setbacks came his way. How do you feel after something difficult has happened? You may have thought this story was about Mr. Bump being resilient, but what happens next is what this story's really about. Mr. Bump was about to spend some time with Little Miss Brave. Little Miss Brave is very brave. She's not afraid of heights, or spiders, or thunderstorms. She's not afraid of standing up for others or what she believes in. Are you brave like Little Miss Brave? I'm sure you are sometimes. But what do you do when things go wrong? Mr. Bump dusted himself off and decided to join Little Miss Brave. Would you like to help me at my extreme sports day? She asked. That sounds like lots of fun, smiled Mr. Bump. So, the friends made their way to Little Miss Brave's house. As you may not know, Little Miss Brave's house is on the edge of a cliff. So it's the perfect place for rock climbing, mountain biking and abseiling. She'd also set up a giant zip wire and a huge skate park with elaborate ramps. Little Miss Somersault wanted to try the mountain biking. Mr. Tickle's long limbs were perfect for rock climbing. And Mr. Cool is a skateboarder extraordinaire who couldn't wait to show off his tricks at the skate park. But not everyone was feeling as brave about the extreme sports. Little Miss Fun had been excited about the giant zip wire, but when she saw how long and high it was, she felt very nervous. I'm not sure I can do it, she trembled. And despite Little Miss Brave's encouragement, she found that many of her friends also stood hesitantly at the top of the cliff. Little Miss Brave decided the best thing to do was to show them how much fun the activities were. Just think of all the new and scary things you've done before that you've enjoyed, said Little Miss Brave. You may surprise yourself when you give it a go. And with that, Little Miss Brave got on her mountain bike. But unfortunately, with all eyes on her, Little Miss Brave started to feel worried. Mountain biking was harder than she remembered, and she wasn't confident she'd make it down the cliff. Despite what she'd said, Little Miss Brave was scared. You're almost there, Little Miss Brave, cheered Mr. Bump encouragingly. Though it didn't feel like that to Little Miss Brave, as her fingers gripped the handlebars and her bike wobbled on the rocks. A very relieved Little Miss Brave reached the bottom of the cliff. But sadly, her wobbly ride hadn't persuaded anyone else to give it a go. Little Miss Brave was worried that her extreme sports day would be a disaster. Why don't I climb the rocks alongside you, Mr. Tickle? She offered. Yes, please, said Mr. Tickle. It would be great if you could show me what to do. But Mr. Tickle actually turned out to be a natural rock climber. while little Miss Brave found it difficult and really felt like giving up. "You can do it!" shouted Mr. Bump as little Miss Brave struggled to regain her hold on the rocks. "You just need to try again and have confidence that it will go right this time." And you know what? Her persistence paid off. Little Miss Brave reached the top of the cliff, feeling proud of herself for keeping going when she'd felt so disheartened. Now the Extreme Sports Day was properly underway. Little Miss Brave was pleased and relieved. She decided it was time to celebrate by going down the giant zip wire. But unfortunately, she didn't propel herself properly and ended up hanging in mid-air. But do you know what Mr. Bump did? He took to the zip wire and they glided down together. "Thank you, Mr. Bump," smiled little Miss Brave. "I thought I was the one who'd be helping you. But you've taught me it's not about being brave enough to try things. It's about being resilient and bouncing back when things go wrong." Which is exactly what was about to happen. As Mr. Bump reached the end of the zip wire, bump. Oh dear. Mr. Bump had quite a few bumps in that story, and so did little Miss Brave, in a different way. But that's what they had in common, their resilience and their ability to bounce back again. Bye-bye, you two. And goodbye to you too. And see you again for another Discover You story.